Hi, I'm Pamela Sue Martin, and I'm the next guest on Screen and Beyond.
On Screen and Beyond, an inside look into the entertainment world featuring interviews with people from the movie, TV, and music industry. And now, here's the host of On Screen and Beyond, Brian Zemrak.
And we are off for another ride into the entertainment world. Thank you for coming along for the ride. And this is episode 769 of On Screen and Beyond, the show that brings you a celebrity guest each week from the movie, TV, or music industry. Joining us this week, we have a fascinating guest as Pamela Sue Martin, who was Nancy Drew in the 70s, Fallon Carrington on Dynasty in the 80s, and so much more joins us this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think you're going to enjoy this one. Pamela is coming up in just a very few moments here. So get ready for that. And Pamela does not do any interviews, basically. And she's agreed to do this one. So we hope you enjoy it very much. And I want to take a moment to recognize our listeners all over the world. This time, thank you to our listeners in Australia, Germany, and India. And thank you for joining us. And in the United States, out in Pennsylvania, I see you're catching the show in Johnstown and Irwin and also in Greensburg. And I appreciate all of you watching or listening, and I hope you enjoy watching and listening to all our guests. It's so much fun having them on. Remember to subscribe on whatever podcast provider you get your podcast from, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Alexa, Podbeam, or Spotify for the audio, or like say anywhere else that we might be, they put us up on, or the video version on Spotify or on YouTube. Okay. And if you subscribe, it doesn't cost anything, but you will automatically get the show as soon as I put the next one up. And like I say, I usually try for Sundays, but depending on how things are going, we sometimes don't get them out on that day because scheduling and everything else. So that's the best way. Subscribe. You'll get it as soon as it comes up. And be sure to follow On Screen and Beyond on Instagram and Facebook. Well, the housekeeping is done. And it's time for Pamela Sue Martin right here on Screen and Beyond. This week's guest on Screen and Beyond has been seen in the original film, The Poseidon Adventure, starring in the Nancy Drew Mysteries, and was Fallon Carrington Colby on Dynasty. On Saturday, March 7th, she will be on stage at the Orinda Theater in Orinda, California, co-starring with Parker Stevenson in the play Love Letters. It's Pamela Sue Martin. Pamela, welcome to On Screen and Beyond.
Thank you.
Now, Pamela, in my last show, I just had Parker on.
Mm-hmm.
He could not say enough good things about you and how great you were and everything. He's so excited about doing this play with you.
Well, it's because of him I'm doing it. I don't do anything anymore. I've been pretty much retired for a very long time. I moved to Mexico 13 years ago. And I've been directing things. I've been directing theater for 25 years when I was raising my son in Sun Valley, Idaho, and also down here. I prefer to be behind the scenes at this stage of my life. And so this is a very rare thing for me, but I do love Parker. And we worked together many times over the years. I mean, many times. I mean, you mentioned a few things that I've done, but there's a whole lot more. And of course, and we did, well, I think it was my second film. I don't know what it was for him, our time. Maybe it was his second film. Maybe it was his first. I don't know. But we were like 19 or really young when we starred in this movie together. And we ended up doing the series, which was sometimes together, sometimes separate, but they were, Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys. And we did many things together over the years. So we were always being put back together, and it was really fun. And we really always connected with one another because we came from the same neck of the woods, basically. I mean, I was from Connecticut, he was from New York. And in essence, we're the people that are in love letters. I mean, it's our era, it's what we come from. And that's what he said to me that put me at ease. He said, look, this is who we are. Don't be rehearsing, whatever, just read it because it's who we are. It's where we're from. And nobody even writes love letters anymore. I mean, they might, but it's going to be on a text or
Right.
an email or something. And it's weird because I moved out. I emptied out my old house in Idaho a couple of years ago, and I found a couple boxes of love letters from various people that I hung on to over the years. And I went, wow, these are real relics. We don't do this anymore, write love letters. So it's kind of special that way. It's like a slice of time. And it's a time that Parker and I, because we're getting up there, lived through. And so when we play these characters, he said, we are these people. So it's not going to be difficult. It'll be fun. And it's fun because it's him and I, it's he and my, we're friends. So it'll be good.
That's what he said. He said that, he thought of you and said, I've got to do this with Pamela. He said,
yeah, that's so sweet. Yeah. Yeah.
So you've never done this play?
No. And
or...
honestly, I have not been in front of people or a camera or an audience in a very long time. I don't, how do I say? I don't really have the need, I enjoy helping other actors do that. I enjoy directing theater because it gives me a much larger palette of things to do. And so that's been a lot of fun over the years to do that. But I don't know. I was never really hugely excited about being in front of people. I mean, from the very first film that I did, I was starring in a film when I was 17, and I was suddenly filming a scene in Central Park, New York, and I was just terrified. There were so many people, and it was always a bit overwhelming for me, and I never quite got over that. I mean, when I was filming television, you get used to it, because you're in an enclosed environment, and it just becomes your job, and it becomes more normal. But I haven't done a lot of theater. I mean, I've directed a lot of theater, but I haven't been in a lot of theater. So it's, it's a challenge for me. I keep seeing the book there, and Parker said, don't worry about it. I mean, don't rehearse it a bunch or whatever, because it all comes out in the words and in the letters. It's just who you are. And so just relax and be it. So I'm like, okay. So he's kind of directing me in a sense, but yeah. So
he said one of the toughest things is that you're not supposed to look at each other during this, because you're not talking to each other. You're basically in two different places supposedly, and you're reading these love letters that had been sent.
Yeah, and I did ask him about that. I said, well, where am I looking then? So I mean, we'll sort of figure it out when I get there, but yeah, I love the concept. It's very sweet, and it's a wonderful story. So look, I wanted to see Parker and his wife again. I adore them, and to come to San Francisco. I mean, it's good. It jolts me out of my little tranquil existence in Mexico that I become very, I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
it's
it'll be fun for you in San Francisco, but it's going to be a real pleasure for the people who are going to be at the play seeing.
Oh, thank you. I
together.
hope so. I certainly hope so. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like I told him, this is not just love letters. This is a Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew, reunion.
The reunion. It is a reunion. There's no doubt about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's so nice that the two of you know each other so well.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure it's going to go great.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have confidence in Parker. Myself, not so much, but
you'll be.
We'll do what we do.
Yeah. With all the things you've done, I'm sure this will be a piece of cake for you.
No, thank you. Thank you.
you said that you started out and you were in the Poseidon Adventure, like I mentioned in the intro.
Yeah.
Was that just what was that like? I mean, some of the stars that you were working with were. Did you realize who these people were?
No. You know, it was my second film. My first one I starred in New York City because I came from, again, back east in New England, in Connecticut, and I was a model at a young age, and I was actually making money for college, and I ended up starring in a movie at 17, and then I was offered Poseidon Adventure once that movie came out. So the next thing I knew, I was in Hollywood at 18. And when all my friends were going to college, and I was trying to navigate getting an apartment and a car and everything, I really had no idea who anybody was that I was working with. I think I knew who. I, no, I really didn't know who anybody was. I mean, I think I knew who Gene Hackman was because everybody knew who Gene Hackman was. He actually won the Academy Award while we were filming Poseidon Adventure. But he was kind of he was somebody who helped me, who kind of helped me when we were filming because there was a lot going on, and he was a bit of a mentor, very sweet. I was just the new kid on the block, just so it was you know it took a long time to film. It was 3 or 4 months, and there was a lot of physical stuff that we did, and it was very, it's very slow. It wasn't like television that I did later that went a lot faster.
Did you physically swim through these
Yeah,
things?
we did. We did a lot of that stuff ourselves.
Wow.
I mean, it's not like we did dangerous
but
things, but yeah, we did a lot of things ourselves. Yeah, there wasn't, even though Poseidon Adventure was kind of one of the first it was the first disaster film, I guess. There weren't the special effects were nothing like they are today. So, you did a lot of things.
Yeah.
At least the beginning part of it, or something like me jumping off this table that was upside down. I mean, I did that. I didn't do it from that kind of a height, but I did it from wherever. And yeah, so we did more things. There weren't the special effects that there are today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Irwin Allen, how was he to work for?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't hang out with him or anything. I was just showing up at work every day. My whole thing was, where was I going to live? And being in a big city, being in Hollywood, and just trying to navigate, as a young person, figuring all those kinds of things out. That's what I remember more than the work, because filming was always a job. It was something that I learned to do. I mean, you learn on the job, right? A lot of times. And that was always the case for me, learning on the job, because I mean, my first film job was starring in a film. So I learned while I was doing it. And the same thing with Poseidon Adventure, really. You just sort of dive in and do what is required. I was just wide-eyed and innocent, and I just did what I was told.
Yeah.
I was the youngest one there. Well, no, there was Eric Shea played my younger brother, so he was actually the youngest. But we were kind of like the young kids, and then everybody else was older. I mean, and it wasn't like when Parker and I worked together and we were the same age. I was like a kid working with a bunch of adults, and that's a whole different feeling.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Powers, and I am on Screen and Beyond.
Yeah. Now, with Nancy Drew Mysteries, had you been a fan of the books, Nancy Drew?
I had, yes. I did read Nancy Drew, and I loved Nancy Drew. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Probably one of the most gratifying things that I did, I think, looking back. And, and I didn't really realize it at the time, but you're able to get a much better perspective in hindsight. And it was a very positive it was a very positive role model for girls, Nancy
Yes.
Drew. Yeah, independent and thoughtful and smart and all of those things. So yeah, so that was a good thing. And you can feel proud of something like that when it's all said and done. Yeah.
Was it
More
like,
than Dynasty, actually, because I felt I don't know. I was frustrated by Dynasty for in a lot of ways, which is why I left so early. I mean, I can look back on it now again, and it was kind of fun, and it was a parody of money in America, and every sort of generation has films and entertainment about the messed up wealthy people. People love to see that. So that's okay in and of itself. But I was frustrated. I took everything so seriously, and I felt like, well, why do strong women have to be bitches, and why can't we be, whatever. So Nancy Drew was more of a perfect kind of character to have played for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you got the chance to be in the new, or not new right now, but I mean, in the new Nancy Drew series that came out, did you hesitate at all to go back? I mean, you weren't playing
Well,
Nancy again, but I mean,
it's funny, I agreed to do it. I was here again. I was living here in Mexico, and I thought it might be fun to go up to Canada, and it was. I enjoyed the girl who was playing the part. I had a much larger part. They cut it down to nothing when they put it up, but it was kind of a funny part. But it was just one of those things that was like, okay, this might be kind of a fun thing to do, and it was, yeah, yeah, it was just kind of a lark, really.
yeah, and it's kind of neat for the audience to say, or us older ones, we'd say, "Oh, that's the real Nancy Drew," or the one
Yeah,
we knew.
I think that was the idea.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Now you mentioned Dynasty. How did you get the part as Fallon?
I imagine I auditioned. I don't really remember. It's
I think,
been a
yeah,
long time, but I think I read for it, you
yeah.
know.
But I got to
I
tell
think
you,
they maybe wanted me to do a screen test, and I didn't want to, so I didn't. But they gave it
wow,
to me anyway.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Hmm.
well, maybe that's why they said she's what
Well,
we want.
I don't know. Things have all changed. I mean, from what I understand, actors just they do their own little screen tests on videos like this, and they
Hmm.
just send them in. So it's all different than it was back then.
Yeah.
Um, but also when Parker and I started out, there wasn't this sort of obsessive youth culture that came in, the next 10 years. It's like everybody was young and we were like young people, and there weren't that many, so we were up for lots of roles and things like that. The stars were a little bit older.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. So it seems anyway.
But you played Fallon so well. I mean,
Thank
she
you.
was the spoiled rich girl, and I mean, you just did it, and obviously you're nothing like that, but I mean, you really did a great job with that role.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think the first few years it was written pretty well, and it was fun. Um, it took on a more soap operatic flavor after that. The writing changed, the writers changed and stuff, and I kept trying to keep her in a sort of flip kind of sarcastic way. I tried to throw it off because otherwise I just felt ridiculous.
Mhm.
So I tried to keep doing that, but it became more and more difficult because the writing became very classic soap opera, like, oh, you're tragic, or oh, you're this, or oh, you're that. And so there was very little gray area. And I don't know. I got really tired of it.
Well, even
I just was
even
like, I want to move on. I want to do some more serious kinds of things, is how I felt at the time.
and
I
like you
really
said,
wanted to work in film more.
yeah.
And there was a larger division back then of film and television and all that. I think now that everything's kind of across the board. It's different.
Mhm. And like you said, the writing changed and became more soap opera, which was evident in the fact that you disappeared, went missing, and then all of a sudden somebody else takes the role over, just like in a soap opera. Oh, it's a different
Okay.
person now.
Yeah, yeah,
But I noticed
yeah.
that a lot of shows, even now, we'll watch 2 or 3 because they only do 8 episodes, but 10 episodes or whatever. But even now, the first 2 or 3 seasons are good, and you can tell that the writing has changed because the show then takes a turn, and it's like, where'd they go? Why is it like this now?
Right. Yeah. And that does happen. Yeah. Yeah. But I think there's so much good television out there today.
Oh yeah, there is.
It's so inventive and so real. And, I'm constantly amazed. I mean, I just got a few channels for a change. I go years without seeing anything, but lately I've been wanting to watch more things, and I'm really amazed, watching HBO. I just got that, and Apple and stuff, and there's some great things out there. I'm very specific about what I like to see because I feel like, I don't know, we're living in difficult times in some ways, particularly in America. And it's easy to fall into the trap of just having darkness, showing material that's dark. And I feel like it's okay to be dark, but you need to have a ray of hope somewhere. Otherwise, why am I watching it? I could just look at the news,
Right.
I mean,
sure.
so, those things that give us some inspiration, I'm always really grateful for.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. There's some really great stuff out there.
Yeah. Now, what about the cast? Of Dynasty. It was just such an incredible bunch of people. Were you close? Did you all get along, or did they fight like, Linda Evans and?
Actually, no, I'll tell you, we got along a lot better than they did on the Poseidon Adventure. There was a lot of yelling going on in Poseidon Adventure, but I wasn't involved in it. Yeah, but yeah, everybody got along. Actors generally get along, Again, I was the youngster. Me and Al Corley and I were very close. And then in fact, his son just came to visit in Mexico, so that was really fun seeing Al Corley's son.
Nice.
And so I loved my brothers, and because they were my age and I was close to both of them. But the other characters were older. So when you're that young, there's like a division,
Yep.
And everything. But I really loved John Forsythe. I loved him like a father. He was such a lovely person. Yeah. That's probably who I really loved and respected the most. I'm really grateful that I got to see him maybe a year before he died, and that was really special. I think that was when we did the reunion, some kind of reunion. So I got to visit with him. I visited with him on his ranch, and I'm really grateful that I did.
Yeah. Now, of all the things you've done in your career, is there anything, not because it was, monetary, it was great, or popularity or anything like that, but anything that was special to you?
I don't know. I don't look back that much. I'm mostly looking forward and or trying to be in the present moment. And I don't think about it very much. And when I was filming, I was always a little bit, like I said, I was always a little bit uneasy. I wasn't really comfortable seeing myself in anything. I never watched things. I certainly never watched anything with people. Like I said, I think I liked Nancy Drew because I liked what she represented for young people, certainly in retrospect. But I don't know. I had some moments, this crazy B movie that I did called The Lady in Red, about John Dillinger and stuff. It's just sort of a junky B movie, but I had some moments in it that I really liked. When I played this this woman who starts out very innocent and turns out to be very tough because she's been through so many hard knocks. And I can still remember sitting, she becomes a prostitute, and I'm sitting in a brothel with a big cigarette holder, and the bartender saying, in my day, they wouldn't let a guy like that in here. And in my day, this and that. And I got to say, it ain't your day no more, pops. And I was just like, and blowing out smoke. And it was just this sort of classic line, it was, I don't know, it was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I mean, I think there were moments that I got a kick out of.
Yeah.
But acting was work for me. I know it's a joy for a lot of people, but for me, there was a certain amount of pressure. And it just came to a point where it was easier for me to kind of let it all go. And just I wanted to have I wanted to have a family, and I wanted to live in the countryside. And so I did that. And that's kind of the way I've been fortunate to live my life, on my own terms. I kind of walked away and went and lived in Idaho and raised my son and had a great time there for many years. I did a lot of directing of theater, and then it got too cold, and then I moved to Mexico 15 years ago, and I have a completely different life here. I've learned the language, and it's just different, and I've learned the culture.
Yeah.
To the extent that I can as an American. Yeah. And I really like it. And I love the people. And I love having a different life. I mean, I go back to the States for a couple of months during hurricane season. I go up there, and it's a bit of an adjustment for me going back because I've gotten used to being here. But it's good. I figure living in two places keeps you a little bit elastic, keeps you flexible. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Annette O'Toole. I am on Screen and Beyond.
Well, Pamela, we're going to be finishing up here, but March 7th, people in the San Francisco Bay Area, get on the BART, drive up, whatever you're going to do, to Orinda, to the Orinda Theater, and see Love Letters with Pamela Sue Martin and Parker Stevenson. It's going to be a great time, and they don't want to miss this. I mean, it's going to be fun, I'm sure.
Thank you. I think we'll have a good time. I do. Yeah. Thank you.
And if you've never been to Orinda, have you? The theater?
I don't think I have. No, not to the theater. No.
It's a beautiful, beautiful old style theater. I mean,
that'll be great. That'll be great. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Pamela, I want to finish up with one final question. And you sort of started talking about what I'm going to ask you. So
okay.
We'll see what you come up with in more detail. But when you sit back and relax, and it looks like you do relax a lot down, where you are.
Yeah.
But when you sit back and relax, what are your favorite TV shows now and of the past? And what's your favorite movies? What do you enjoy watching?
Well, okay. My favorite show of all time. I watched it when my son was growing up. And then I watched it again this summer. All 6 seasons, every single show was Parenthood. And did you ever see it?
Yes.
Ron Howard produced it. It made me smile and it made me cry every single episode. It was so touching the way people resolved their issues and stuff. I absolutely loved that show. There's a lot of things that I like. I really love comedy. I loved the Kaminsky Method. I loved recently The Man on the Inside with Ted Danson. I just thought it was so funny when he was in the, assisted living place. So I really enjoy good comedies. Oh, there was a really good one with, oh my God, what was it called? It was about High Desert on Apple TV. High Desert. It's a comedy. And Matt Dillon was in it, and Patricia Arquette. It's hilarious. And it reminded me of all the crazy people I knew in LA. It was just funny. So I enjoy good comedy like that. And I also enjoy really good drama. I mean, I just binged, and I've never binged anything. And it was just so intense. I just binged The Pit. And I just thought it was outrageous. I loved it. So there's some good stuff out there, and I enjoy it. Yeah. But I like watching. I never think, oh, I wish I could be in that, ever.
Yeah.
I just don't. People go, oh, don't you wish you could go back? I'm like, no, I don't. I like my life the way it is.
Well, Pamela, I cannot thank you enough, for taking time to share. I realize you don't do this often, and I thank you so much for doing it.
It's my pleasure.
The people, like I say, that are going to be able to see you, in Orinda on March 7th, Saturday, March 7th.
Oh,
You're in for a
thank
real
you.
treat.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been good talking to you.
And there she is, Pamela Sue Martin. I thank her so much for sharing her journey with us. And if you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, you will be lucky enough to see her at the Orinda Theater in Orinda, California, on stage in Love Letters with Parker Stevenson. Of course, Parker's a great guy. He's on the Hardy Boys and Baywatch and everything else he was on. And that's going to be on Saturday, March 7th. Get your tickets now because they will sell out. So be sure to check that out. And I hope you have a great week. And I will be back next week with another fascinating guest. That's a wrap for this episode of On Screen and Beyond. So until next time, when we once again take you on screen and beyond, I'm Brian Zemrak. Take care.